Welcome to Darkened Files, where the shadows speak. We uncover the untold stories behind domestic violence and brutal crimes, exposing the chilling truths hidden in plain sight. Real cases, real voices, no sugarcoating. If you're ready to step inside the darkest corners of reality, you're in the right place.
Hi, Drew. So we are back in East Germantown. If you've been following the Kata Scott investigation, today is 2 weeks since she went missing. And we are back here at Ada Lewis Middle School, which has been abandoned for over a decade. And we got the update from police that they found human remains belonging to a female. They say these remains have only been here no longer than a week. Obviously, heartbreaking news for a lot of people to hear. And while police are not confirming that this is Kata Scott, they are obviously acknowledging the high possibility. And police say now the medical examiner will need to confirm who this person is, the remains, who they belong to, and everything will kind of go according from there on. So if you've been following the case, Kata Scott, she was last seen at her workplace, and that is over at the terrace at Chestnut Hill. That was 2 weeks ago, the night of October 4th. Police have said that she showed up to work and was only there for about 20 minutes, and then she disappeared. And throughout this investigation, we've then learned that the last person she had communication with is a 21-year-old named Keon King. And police say they have evidence digitally as well as through video that this was the last person that she interacted with. Now, Keon King, he was arrested earlier in the week. He turned himself in Tuesday night. Police announced the arrest Wednesday. He's facing several charges, including kidnapping. And we know that there are other prior victims who've now come forward, including the victim of another 2025 prior kidnapping case that was withdrawn from court in May. But obviously, the big news here is the fact that human remains were found. Let me just show you what it looks like now. So you can see that there still is a bit of a police presence, and all the way down the street here, Ardley Street, you can see there's a large group of people. So many people have been following this investigation. They've started to help even with the search. We heard there were over 40 people last night right in this neighborhood searching the grounds of the Arboretum, searching the grounds of this abandoned middle school. And, there were a lot of emotions going on after police announced that they found human remains. So many people who are heartbroken for the family, so many people who are upset by the fact that, remains were found now and not sooner, especially after some of those tips that they provided to police. Now, police tell us that they actually showed up here because of a very specific tip. It was an anonymous tip, and it led police behind this abandoned middle school to a heavily wooded area, and that's where they made the discovery here. So there's a lot to get into tonight. We're definitely going to keep you updated as we learn more. But again, the big notes on this: human remains were found belonging to a female. The remains have been here no longer than a week. This is a property that has been searched before in connection to the disappearance of 23-year-old Kata Scott. We've had her family on Good Day. We've interviewed them over these last couple of weeks, and we know how much she was loved and also how many people had so much pride in what she was doing. She was working in healthcare. She had opened up a beauty facial salon at a very young age. She was described as a go-getter. So obviously this is very heartbreaking discovery for the family. But again, police are going to wait to confirm through the medical examiner.
Any tips, and the public has been fantastic in providing tips and information, and we greatly appreciate that. But based on a tip that came in last night through the night, investigators began the process of following up on that tip this morning, starting around 10 o'clock this morning, following up on that tip. And the tip was very specific that led us back to this location here today. What you all know, we were out here earlier in the week doing a little bit of a search. And so based on the investigative information, based on the investigation and what they were following up on that tip today, led us back to this area behind the school where it's a wooded area. I don't know if any of you have been back there, but it's a wooded area that goes beyond the school. And so we begin to go back into that area where we will locate a shallow grave after being able to remove some of the debris back there, able to locate the body of a human being. All indications at this point is that it's a female. We are not going to confirm at this point that it is Miss Kata Scott, because that has to be done by the medical examiner's office. But we have been in communication with her family as to this process and the fact that we have recovered a human being. And so at this point, it's still a lot of work to be done. I'll be very candid that we can't answer but so many questions. We're not going to get into the investigation at this point because we want to make sure that all of the pieces to this are done correctly and that we don't put out information ahead of time because we want the people and the person that we have in custody and anybody else that may be involved in this, we want them held accountable to the highest degree of the law for what they have done. And so I just want that to be clear as to why we will not get into specific details. And so that's where we're at this point. Still a lot of work, but I must say a lot of work has been done around this case. As you know, we've been searching, have done multiple searches. We shut down the police academy. That was a decision made by myself and Commissioner Bethel to shut down the police academy over a week ago, where we brought out the entire group of recruits to comb through this area. Again, so I know, listen, no one is happy that this is the ending, and completely understand that this is a lot on our investigators, a lot on all of us, because again, we all have family members, and this could have been any one of our family members, could be anybody's family member, and that's understood, and that's the reason that you see the tireless work that's been done by starting with Northwest Detectives, and then by homicide, by our partners through the FBI, through our forensics office, through any and everybody that has been a part of this process, because we wanted to bring some level of closure to this family. And so, again, we're going to wait until we have official confirmation on, as the medical examiner is going to do their process, and then we will bring that confirmation. But that's where we are right now. Again, I can't reiterate enough how much we appreciate, tips and information that have come in from the public. I still will urge the public that if you have any information, anything that you think is related to this, continue to give us that information via 215-686-TIPS. Still continue to give us that information because, again, we don't know if there are other individuals that have been a victim of this individual that we have in custody. And so I just want that to be clear, that please continue to provide that information if you have anything. But that's where we are at this point. I would also ask you to continue to pray for Ms. Scott's family.
What's the process of getting that official confirmation on whether it's her or not?
Well, at this point now, we're on the medical examiner's timeline. And so they will, the body will be recovered and transported to the medical examiner's office, and then they will go through their of any location. Understand that it's not an easy process, and when you as well again, it's a lot of wooded area, and so we're grateful today that we're here. Make no mistake about it, if we had located the body yesterday, this in terms of this discovery would not, this person has been deceased for a few days, and so for some time. I'm not going to say how many days, but this didn't just happen yesterday. And so, yeah, we did a lot of work. And again, I'm proud of the men and women in this organization that have, been doing the work to try to locate Miss Scott. And again, in our minds, we know this was a possible reality, and here we are, unfortunately.
Does the timeline match up?
Does the timeline of what?
In terms of when she went missing and how long it looks like that grave
As I
has
said,
been around?
I am not going to get into any of the investigative process because I don't want to mess up this case. And I don't want anyone picking apart what we say and trying to create a defense. I want to make sure that we do our jobs in the most diligent way. We give the district attorney's office an opportunity to do their job in the most diligent way, and that we get a prosecution on this incident here. And so I'm not going to get into any parts of the investigation, not out of disrespect, but just simply because I want to make sure that the person we have in custody and anybody else that was involved in this, that they are held accountable the way that they should be. And so that's why I'm not getting into the specifics of the case.
The specific tip that came in, could you get into more detail about what was specific about it? Is it in location, and was it from a community member?
I won't get into the specifics. It's an anonymous tip that came in through our tip line, as we have been asking for. But it was very specific as to detailing us and directing us to a specific location in the wooded area, going back to your question, a very specific location that narrowed it down. Don't know who the tip is from. But grateful that the individual submitted the tip that brought us back here to this location this morning.
Just this last question. Forget the cursing and the yelling at you guys. It just shows that there's passion behind this. What do you want to say about the passion of the community? They were out here, as you know, last night searching as well. Just your thoughts on just the community's involvement in this case.
Listen, I am not offended by the passion that some of the remarks that have been made as we were walking back. I'm not offended at all, because that's people's emotion, and this is an emotional situation, and so it's to be understood. However, I know what we have done, in the amount of hours that have been put into this process of trying to locate Miss Scott. I know the work that has been done to bring the individual in the custody that we have in custody, and I know the work that these investigators will continue to do to ensure that we wrap this case up and that we do everything to hold the people accountable in the proper way. And so listen, we can't be upset at that. I mean, that's emotion. If that was my family member or if I was someone I knew, I would have the same level of emotion. And listen, to be quite frank about it, the reason I go through the steps of what we have done is because not every community member, they don't know that we shut down the police academy to bring 300 recruits up here to go searching through an area. They don't know that. They don't know that we had teams of dogs from New Jersey State Police come into Philadelphia to help us in the search process. They don't know that. And so it's my job to make sure that I express that, so they know that this police department, we took this case serious. We take every case serious, but the work that's been done to again bring this to some conclusion. Is this the conclusion that we wanted? Absolutely not. But at this point now, we have to do everything in our power to ensure that we bring justice for this family and some level of closure. And so to answer that, no, it's understandable. Listen, that passion you need, because that's also the passion that helps you drive in the tips. That's the passion that gets you to have the support from the community and getting the information that we got. And so it's understandable.
Could we hear from the ADA as well?
Absolutely.
Once and if it is confirmed that this is Kada, what does this mean for King?
It means that we do our job. It means that we take everything that we know, we take everything that we found out today, we let the MEs do what they do, and then everything will come to us and we'll make the determination of whether we add additional charges.
And what would those additional charges be?
Once we hear from the ME, I'll have a better answer on that. Obviously, we're like you said, we're going in order. Right now, we're on to the ME. They're going to do their investigation. As soon as we hear from them, it'll guide us in what we do.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
One last question. So 10 a.m. you guys arrived here. At what time did you guys make the discovery of the remains? estimate?
They were in here too.
Okay.
Because when I say they were here, they were, evidence and other things that would drive us directly where we need to be.
Okay. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Go away, bitch. Don't come over here. Karen, call the cops. Call. It's all these kids here. Call the cops, you dumb bitch. He coming around the window. Hold out with Cameron. Yeah, bitch, go away, bye. Go away, bye. Yup, bye. Bye. Can't out here.
Philadelphia, city of brotherly love, right? Also a place that's seen over 560 homicides in a year. A place where a young woman can walk out of work and vanish. No cameras, no witnesses, just a car parked lonely and a family drowning in questions. Kata Scott was 23. She had plans. She had a path. She had a whole future in front of her. She deserved more than this. So we're gonna say exactly what happened that night. Her story matters. Hi everybody. My name is Kayla, and I don't know what type of content I want to do yet. I think I want to do lifestyle, fashion, and girl talk. Today I decided to do a picnic. This is Kata Scott, Philly born, 23, about her business for real. Fresh out of Penn State with a communications degree. Fashion, modeling, fitness, cooking, music. She was building a clothing line. She wasn't dreaming out loud. She was producing. She was moving. 2 weeks before she went missing, she started at the Terrace at Chestnut Hill, senior living, Northwest Philly, nursing assistant, paying tuition, stacking, building. People who knew her say she was focused, creative, kind, low-key. She wanted the most out of life, and she was getting it. School, work, brand, all at once.
She had thousands riding with her. Then the energy changed. In the days before she vanished, she told friends about non-stop calls, unknown or maybe too familiar, ring after ring. She posted on her fitness page, zoom in and you catch it, somebody in the back with the phone up, watching, hovering. Her family didn't know how deep it ran. Most of us wouldn't, but Kada felt it. Something was wrong. October 4th, 2025. Everything snaps. She clocks in for the overnight at the Terrace, 10 to 6, 5 minutes from home. Routine shift. She'd done it plenty. Routine walked out first. Around 9:45 p.m., Kada steps out. No call, no text, no reason. For her, that's a blaring alarm. Her mother is the last family member to see her. Around 9:50 p.m., headed to work. Normal goodbye. You never think it's the last. After that, silence. Phone dead. No pings, no posts. She was online daily, then zero. The family knew instantly. By Sunday morning, straight to voicemail. Apple Watch off. iPad off. iPhone off. Everything dark. Her car was still in the lot. Keys gone. Tablet gone. Phone gone. Like she disappeared mid-step. Make it make sense. Leaves work early. Car stays. Valuables vanish. No witnesses. No cameras. In 2025. Seriously? Her people moved. Report filed. Flyers up. Blocks searched. They called on the city. Detectives pulled threads, and all roads pointed one direction. She'd been talking that night with Keon King, 21. Investigators believe he met her right after she left. Here's where it gets heavy. He wasn't some random, he had history. The kind that chills you. Another young woman had dealt with him before Kada disappeared, and she recorded it. You can hear the fear. You can feel danger on the doorstep. That's the charge in this story. Days rolled by. No Kada, no calls, no bank use, nothing. She didn't take a break. She was gone. The family was hurting, deeply. Picture your child, your niece, your cousin, the quiet getting louder every hour. Police ran down every lead. They processed her car. No blood, no obvious struggle. But the keys and the devices missing, that screams foul play. They dove her socials, followers, DMs, patterns. Was there an obsessed watcher? When you're a young black woman online, you're visible. Visibility invites eyes. Some cross the line. The case moved to homicide for muscle, not a homicide declaration, resource mode. Veterans on deck. We all know what that signals. Hope high, guard higher. Her aunt stepped in with a spiritual read. Specifics. Between the job and the park. 3 people. 1 with locks. A car. An argument. Assault. A transition. Not sexual, she said. The job knew something. Her spirit is strong. Believe it or not, parts of that lined up with what came next. Police pressed the gas. FBI looped in. Violent crime task force on it.
A big search spun up. Morris Arboretum turned into a grid. Acres of woods, trails, fences, terrain that eats time. Academy classes pulled in. Clear instructions, tight lines. They combed it clean. Came up empty, but the data kept circling one name. Keon King. That 99 gold Camry was everywhere. Mount Airy, Center City, Southwest, Gray's Ferry. Left front damage you could spot from a block away. Then it was gone. His phone off. Address is cold. He ghosted. October 15, 11 days after Kada vanished. They found him, arrested, kidnapping charges filed.
All right. Good morning. Just want to give you an update on the disappearance of Kata Scott, which occurred on October 4th, 11 days ago. Going to provide you an update in terms of an individual that is currently in custody for his involvement in the disappearance of Ms. Scott. However, still a lot of work needs to be done. And so just want to make that very clear as to why we are here and the information that you will receive. Essentially letting you know how we have gotten here, but more so the public's help that we need right now. The public has been very, very helpful thus far in providing a lot of information, which the investigators have been able to track down a lot of the leads, which has helped us get to this point here. But as I said, a lot of work still to be done. The number one priority is locating Ms. Scott. I just want to make that very clear. And so while we are at this stage of this now, that's our priority. And so we will ask for your help in locating this vehicle, which you'll get a little more information. It's a 1999 metallic gold Toyota Camry with a Pennsylvania tag of MSX0797. But we need to know where this car is. We need to find this car. Making this very clear, it's not to just focus on the northwest section of the city of Philadelphia. This car has traversed through the entire city. And so I want that to be clear, that every neighborhood, every person listening to this, whether you're in North Philly, South Philly, Southwest, Northwest, please open your eyes and see if you locate this car, or if you have seen this car, please contact us and give us that information. The second part of this is the individual that Deputy Commissioner Venor will provide his information very shortly. Want folks to understand this person has a little bit of a pattern of this type of history. And so we want to encourage anyone that may have been involved with this individual, anyone that may know this individual, please, at this point in time, make that phone call. Feel comfortable enough to call us and let us know if you have any information regarding this person, regarding any interaction you've had with this individual. If you have been a victim of any crime regarding this individual, I want you to understand now is the time to make that phone call and let us know. Give us that information so that we can continue on. Again, just want to make it very clear that a lot of work has been done, starting off with Northwest Detective Division, and then this case shifting over to homicide, making it very clear that the case was shifted to homicide because we have the most experienced investigators in our homicide unit. They have the most experience dealing with all types of investigations. They also have the most resources available to them. And so we have the hopes that we are still treating this as if Ms. Scott is still alive. And that's why we want the public's help in trying to locate every single piece of this. But I just wanted to make that clear because I know there's been some reports once it shifted over to homicide, folks not understanding the why. And so that's the reason behind that. At this point in time, again, appreciate the help that we've gotten. I want to turn everything over to Deputy Venor to go into more details about the individual that has been taken into custody and some other pertinent facts of the investigation.
All right, good morning. Just to reiterate what the Commissioner Stanford said, we've been investigating this since Saturday, October 4th in the evening, the last time Kata Scott was seen at her place of work up in Mount Airy area. Our evidence that we followed, and we did involve a lot of investigators on this, led us to several places, that digital evidence, and as everybody knows, we searched a very large area up in the Arboretum, and we came up really with negative results. After that time, we asked the Homicide Division, the FBI Violent Crime Task Force to enter into the investigation to assist. All right, and we continued our search trying to track Ms. Scott's whereabouts along with anybody she may have encountered during that time. Our evidence is pretty clear that she was in communication with an individual. That individual appears to meet her very shortly after she leaves her place of work. And very shortly after that, she disappears off of the footprint. We have a lot of digital evidence, video and other, which provides us with this individual by the name of Keon, K-E-O-N, King, K-I-N-G. We believe this individual, and through our evidence, we were able to charge this individual. The district attorney was able to charge the individual. You'll hear from them shortly with kidnapping at this point. It's very important to know we're not done our investigation. We need to find Ms. Scott, figure out where she is, or what may have happened to her to cause her to completely disappear from all her items, her phone, her Instagram, social media sites, and everywhere else, work. She left her car at that location. So it's very important that this individual, who does have prior history of being arrested, especially for this very same thing, this year was charged with kidnapping another female acquaintance. That case was dismissed from court, and I'll explain it. It's going to be refiled now as we're going to move forward to attempt. So he's being really charged with 2 cases today of kidnapping. And in that case, it involves assaults that occurred during the kidnapping. So this is a pattern of behavior. That vehicle that you've seen, the Toyota Camry, was his vehicle, all right? That vehicle's not recovered, all right? Some of the stuff he did as we attempted to find him was he got rid of things like the car, the phone. We're not able to find things that he was using. He had an address in Southwest Philadelphia. He had other addresses that it looks like he's not using anymore. So he attempted to elude us for some time. He did come in last night. He's here being processed, but there's a lot of questions we still have. So we're asking the public's help. We need it more than ever. This car, you'll see a better picture of it. We sent it to you digitally. It's a gold-colored Camry, 1999. It has heavy front-end damage on the left front bumper. All right, that's being described that way several times. We know it's been in the Mount Airy area. We have photos of it in Center City. We have pictures of it in Grace Ferry area and in Southwest Philadelphia. So it's possible that it could be anywhere. It could be outside the city. So if somebody sees this, thinks they know where this car is, it's very possible it doesn't have this tag on it anymore. So if you see a car like it, we're urging you to call police, have it investigated. Any information on this, you can call our tip line, 215-686-TIPS, 8477, or the Homicide Division directly, and give that information. All right, I'm going to turn things over to ADA Teslowski, who could speak a little more about the charges and potentially other charges that he's facing.
Thank you. My name is Ashley Teslowski. I am an assistant district attorney in the homicide unit. I became involved in this investigation last week when the investigation was turned over to the homicide unit. So I became the assigned ADA when detectives Rob Daly and Joe Kremen took over the case. The first thing I want to say is that PPD and our federal partners and Detective Daly and Detective Kremen have done an amazing job to get us where we are. Today I'm joined by Tracy Washington from our Victim Services Unit, and also Bob Listenby, the first assistant of our office. What I can confirm is that our office, as of the early morning hours into the early morning hours this morning, did charge this individual with charges, the lead charge being kidnapping. You know, as we've said multiple times at this point, we do not know where Ms. Scott is. So at this point, our lead charge is kidnapping. What we're able to confirm and what I was able to charge based on is what we know, which has already been said, which is that this person, Mr. King, is the last person we believe to be in contact with her, and that he was in contact with her when she went offline, meaning her phone, everything. So at this point, the investigation has led us here, and we're able to charge him with kidnapping, recklessly endangering another person, use of a communication facility, meaning his phone. We were able to track his phone and communications on his phone. He's being processed as we speak. When I picked up this investigation, one of the things that our office also learned was that he did have a previous case. It was a 2025 case for very similar conduct, strangulation and kidnapping. That case had been withdrawn by our office based on the witness failing to appear at court. I pulled that file, and after an extensive review of it, our office made the decision to refile those charges. We believe there is enough to proceed, and we also do believe that this is a pattern for this person. That refile was filed yesterday. He was served on that as a part of our conversation with him. Him being here and being processed on the new charges, he was served for that, so he will also be facing a preliminary hearing on that previous kidnapping case as well. So at this point, he will have 2 open kidnapping cases that will face preliminary hearings in the coming months.
I don't know if there's any questions.
For the district attorney's office, how many times does a defendant, does the case appear before a judge that it's then withdrawn? I mean, how many times does this matter come before a judge and the decision then gets made, it's withdrawn?
It depends. In this specific case, what I could tell you is that after the first listing, when the victim failed to appear, the case was marked what I'll call must be tried, which is a little bit of a court lingo, but basically saying if it's not tried by the next listing, it'll either be dismissed or withdrawn. It was marked that way after the first listing when she didn't appear in court, and then at the second listing, when again we didn't have the witness or the victim in court, it was at that point withdrawn, given the previous marking.
Do you have his date of birth?
I do not, but I'm sure we can get that.
Yeah, okay.
The video that was seen of the vehicle in the area of the Arboretum, do we believe that's the vehicle that?
This vehicle has been traveling all over the city. So we do believe this video is involved in what we're talking about, and we have it all over the city in concert with how he's moving as well. Yep, we have the date of birth for you. It is 5/6/2004. So 5/6/2004.
Do you guys know how the two knew each other, how long it had been, and is this the specific individual that Kada had expressed concern about, specifically harassment?
I'm not willing to comment on that at this time. That's still very much being investigated in terms of their relationship and how long they knew each other.
So the significance of the car right now, the urgency, if you will, can you address why you believe people need to find this car?
Sure, I can certainly comment on that, or if you want to. I mean, at this point, we believe he is connected to this vehicle. We also believe she may have been in that vehicle.
As far as the other case, the kidnapping case,
Yes.
can you just explain some of the circumstances surrounding that case, as brief as you would be?
Sure. That case is an individual that was known to him, a domestic in nature. And what I can say is the allegations in that case are that he kidnapped a woman in front of her house, threw her in her car, assaulted her, and then eventually let her out of the car. There is some video evidence, I believe, that'll be played at the preliminary hearing, but that was domestic in nature.
And do you have a time or about when that happened?
It was this year in 2025. The case was withdrawn in May, so it predates that by a little bit.
Where was the last location this car was seen?
I don't know if we have exactly the last location, but what I can say is through our investigation, it was tracked all over the city, in multiple areas of the city in multiple different time periods throughout, the entire length of this investigation.
When police were at an address in Southwest Philadelphia last Thursday night, was that one of his addresses?
It was one of the addresses connected to this investigation.
Do you believe anyone else might be helping King or possibly driving that vehicle for him?
In terms of other people being involved, I don't have comment on that at this time. It's still very much being investigated. There have been several phone numbers involved that we've been tracking, but all roads at this point lead to him, and so that's what we're hoping leads us to her.
After she arrives at work at 10 o'clock, how big is the time window that she actually remains at work before leaving?
Yeah.
She's not there long at all. She gets there maybe just before 10, and right after she's out, maybe 20 minutes. That's what I'm told.
Are they communicating at this point?
We believe they are, yeah.
Do you know how the two knew each other?
I don't know their relationship. Obviously, they had a connection. They're going back and forth, and they've known each other for a short time, but I don't know how long.
Do you know if she was willingly meeting him, or?
I don't know. I don't know yet.
We're going to take a couple more questions as we get this information out there. Two more questions?
I just wanted to see, is he saying anything? Is he being interviewed?
I'm not going to comment on that at this point.
As for the relationship, police said they knew each other and were in communication, but they kept the rest tight. What mattered was that he was there, and after she got in that car, silence. Then the story pivoted. Right after that morning presser, a tip hit, an old school near the Arboretum. Officers rolled to Henry H. Houston Elementary, boarded, closed for years. They went in, they searched the grounds, they found something. Physical evidence linking Kata to that spot. They didn't say what. They said it mattered. It was outside the building, enough to prove she'd been there. That find changed everything. It meant they were closing in on the truth. They rode in K9s, CSI, drone pilots. They swept that campus top to bottom. Halls, roof lines, ball fields, tree lines, every inch. All hands, all eyes. Still no Kata. Not that day, not the days after. Then they tracked down the gold Camry, the same car King rode all over the city, the car they believed Kata was inside. They recovered it, but he'd already tried to scrub his trail. Phone gone, car ditched, addresses abandoned. He knew the game. Keon King sat in custody, serious counts, 2 kidnappings, reckless endangerment, use of a communication facility. The pile was growing. Digital logs, witness statements, camera pulls, physical evidence. In court, prosecutors walked the clock. Kata hits work just before 10 p.m., 20 minutes. She leaves. In that window, she and King are messaging. He meets her outside. Then everything goes black. The defense tried to punch holes. The timeline held. Phones don't lie. Cameras don't blink. They had footage of the car. They had evidence tying Kata to that school site. The ADA said it plain. He was the last person with her, and he's got a record of this exact harm to women. That earlier kidnapping from this year didn't stay buried either. The victim came forward again, and there was video of his violence. They refiled it. Now he's answering to both. Period. Meanwhile, the internet was loud. Timelines full of theories and side eyes. Some looked at her coworkers. Did they know more? Others asked why a workplace in 2025 had no cameras. Folks pointed at the system. How does a man catch kidnapping and assault, then walk when the case gets dismissed? How does he walk? And months later, another woman vanished. People were mad, rightfully so. But one question drowned out the rest. Where is she? Is she alive? Is she hidden somewhere? Or did the worst happen? As of this telling, Kata Scott is not found, not living, not confirmed gone, just missing. And that limbo breaks the people who love her. Her family didn't quit. They won't. They're still searching, still hoping, still demanding answers, because Kata deserves to be found. She deserves justice. She deserves home. So here we stand, Keon King in a cell, the evidence stacking, the timeline set. The one thing that matters most is still missing, Kata herself. That weight is heavy. We're used to endings, even the kind that hurt. This one won't end. This is a family suspended between maybes. Is their daughter out there, or are they looking for a different kind of goodbye? The questions keep folks up at night. What was the real tie between Kata and King? How long did they know each other? How deep did the contact go? Police said they were looking into it. They didn't tell the public more. Maybe it's messy. Maybe it's painful. Maybe it risks the case. What did those messages say? Why did she leave early? Something she never did. Was she lured? Was she threatened? Did a meetup turn into something else? We might never read those texts, but they hold the key to her last minutes before the silence. And the question that cuts the deepest, is Kata Scott still alive? That's the hope her family clings to. That's the light they refuse to put out. Until there's proof, until a body, until hard confirmation, they will believe she's out there, because the alternative is unthinkable. But let's be real, the signs don't point to joy. A young woman vanishes. Her phone goes dead. Evidence places her at an abandoned site. The last man with her has a violent history with women. Massive searches. No trace. We don't stop looking. We don't stop asking. But we brace for the truth. We don't want that. When Kata is found, it might not be the reunion her family prays for. And here's the rage. This is bigger than one man, one victim. This is a system slipping again. Earlier in 2025, he was arrested for kidnapping. Allegedly throws a woman into a car, assaults her, holds her. There's video. There are charges. Then court day comes, and the victim can't appear. The case gets dismissed. She's not to blame. Survivors face fear, pressure, threats, trauma. The system is heavy and hard to navigate. But why does a case like that vanish? How does a man with a record of violence toward women walk with no accountability? Then months later, another woman disappears. She said she was being harassed. She waved red flags. And she's gone. Make it make sense. This is what happens when violence against women isn't taken seriously, when cases get tossed, when stalking and harassment get treated like noise instead of alarms. Kata might still be here if that first case held, if accountability had landed the first time. He isn't free to meet her that night. He isn't free to drive that gold Camry. He isn't free to make her disappear. But he was, and now a family lives in agony, not knowing life or death. Kata Scott was 23, fresh grad, working, building, dreaming, a daughter, a niece, a friend, a creator, loved by many, future bright.
Her story proves disappearances don't come out of nowhere. There are warnings. There are signs. She told people she was being harassed. She felt the danger. Still, she's gone. This case forces hard questions about how we protect black women or don't. It exposes a justice system that lets too many slip through. How many more Katas are out there? How many walked away because someone with a violent past walked free? Behind every missing person, there's a broken table at dinner, a mother who can't sleep, a sibling scrolling old photos, a friend replaying the last call, wishing they'd said more, seen more. Her people are still outside, still posting flyers, still calling numbers, still asking for anything that helps bring her home. If you know something, anything, say it. If you saw that 1999 gold Toyota Camry with front-end damage rolling Philly between October 4 and October 15, call the police. If you spoke with Keon King then, if you know where he moved, who he met, what he did, speak. This is bigger than a case file. This is peace for a family. This is making sure her story doesn't end in silence. Her phone died on October 4, 2025. Her pages stopped. Her voice went quiet. Ours won't. We say Kata Scott. We demand justice. We don't stop until she's found. Rest in peace or rest in power. Kata, whichever you need. Your story has been heard. Share it. Talk it. Don't let her name fade. And remember, domestic violence and relationship violence are real.